In recent times, Israel's aggression in Gaza has written one of the darkest chapters in human history. After carrying out a continuous genocide for 15 months, a ceasefire was brokered by the United States in January 2025. However, just 2 months later, Israel has once again launched brutal attacks on Gaza. The videos of the horrific genocide circulating on social media would shatter the heart of any conscientious human being. Yet, despite this immense destruction, Israel remains unsatisfied. They have long since reduced Gaza to rubble and will likely not stop until they have completely exterminated the Palestinian residents there. How Israel continues to survive despite committing the most egregious crimes against humanity in modern times, and where this destruction will ultimately lead, will be discussed in this episode of Why? How? If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click the bell icon. The ongoing ethnic cleansing in Gaza began on the 7th of October, 2023. Western media and pro-Israeli factions have tried to frame the issue as if the Palestinian problem started only on the 7th of October, as if Israel had never committed any injustices against Palestinians before. The reality is that this conflict began in 1948, with the birth of the Israeli state. Although Israel emerged as an independent country through a UN resolution, its first act after establishment was to violate that very resolution. Despite Palestinians being the majority in population, the UN allocated them only 43% of their ancestral land, while Jewish settlers, who had no historical claim, were given 57%. Yet, Israel immediately seized 73% of Palestinian land. Later, after the 1967 war, Israel began constructing illegal settlements in the West Bank, gradually swallowing up all of Palestine. The UN has passed numerous resolutions condemning Israel's unjust occupation and atrocities. By 2013 alone, the UN Human Rights Council, UNHRC, had adopted 45 resolutions against Israel. Since its formation, the UNHRC has condemned Israel more than any other country or entity, meaning no other terrorist organization or state has committed as many crimes against humanity as Israel since the UN's inception. For the past 78 years, Israel has waged aggression against the Palestinian people, a history Western media refuses to acknowledge. According to them, everything started on the 7th of October, as if Israel had done nothing before. However, even before the 7th of October, conflicts between Israel and Palestine had escalated multiple times. Apart from the Arab-Israeli wars, these were not wars but Palestinian resistance against Israeli aggression. Israel claims that Hamas violated the ceasefire agreement by attacking on the 7th of October, but this is a blatant lie. Just 12 days before Hamas's attack, Israel carried out airstrikes in Gaza for 3 consecutive days. On the 4th of October, Israeli forces shot and injured a large number of Palestinians in the Ankhlisa tactic they regularly employ. Even in the West Bank, Israel killed so many Palestinians in 2023 that human rights organizations described it as the deadliest year. All this happened before the 7th of October. Israel has used lies to justify its genocide, turning the lives of over 2 million Gazans into a living hell. Under the pretext of targeting Hamas, Israel has destroyed nearly all hospitals in Gaza, claiming Hamas operated beneath them. Yet, the so-called champions of human rights in the West never questioned why hundreds of thousands of civilians were killed, or why Gaza was razed to the ground in the name of eliminating Hamas. Israel argues that Gazans voted for Hamas, so they must suffer the consequences. But this is baseless. The last Palestinian elections were in 2006. Most Gazans today are children who weren't even born then, and those who were alive in 2006 were mostly too young to vote. Moreover, Hamas did not even win a majority in that election. Thus, Israel and its Western allies continue to spread lies while committing the worst crimes against humanity in history. Israeli children are raised with negative stereotypes about Palestinians, taught that they are subhuman terrorists, threats, or invaders. Israeli linguist Professor Nurit Peled of Hebrew University found that Israeli textbooks consistently portray Palestinians in a distorted manner, depicting them as dangerous and unacceptable. Additionally, Israelis refer to Palestinians as Amalek, a biblical nation considered the eternal enemy of the Israelites. In October 2023, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu used this term while calling for Hamas's destruction. According to the Bible, God commanded the Israelites to wipe out Amalek completely. Thus, Israeli forces see the killing of Palestinians as a sacred duty, feeling no remorse but rather pride in their atrocities. Israeli historian Ilan Pappé argues that Israel is in the final stages of its Zionist agenda. Like all great empires or colonial powers, they resort to extreme violence before their downfall. Historically, the Egyptian, Roman, Mongol, and even British empires collapsed due to the violence they themselves unleashed. The Creator never ignores the prayers of the oppressed. As the suffering of the Palestinian people intensifies, divine help draws nearer. By crossing all limits of cruelty, Israel is only hastening its own destruction. For a deeper understanding of the historical context of Israel's aggression, watch the other videos in this playlist on. To stay updated, subscribe and click the bell icon.